This is Jennifer Valentine Miller at Healing Relations PR, and welcome to my Media Hub.
About the author.
Hi, and welcome to me, Jennifer Valentine Miller, on the Jennifer Valentine Miller Show. So, on the Sunday nearest to the 11th of November, most churches held a service of remembrance, marking the day when World War I ended. We also will remember those who have lost their lives fighting in subsequent wars. And this was again honoured with a 2-minute silence at 11 a.m. Now the church will hold a Remembrance Day service because it is also an opportunity to explore the important themes such as war and peace, as well as remembering. And so, because there'll be a lot of children around and their families enjoying church, they should also enjoy the experience together. Now, there are various outlines for unpacking a Remembrance Day service, but most importantly, it will be one where individuals can wear their poppy. Most people in the average church will have no direct experience of living through a war. Nevertheless, there could well be some older people at church who still have childhood memories of bombings, for example. And you may also have children who have had or still have a parent involved in recent conflicts. For them, this remembrance can be a very poignant and emotional occasion. For most of us, our awareness of war comes from the media, and even young children will have picked up on some of this. In addition, there are some popular books around, like War Horse by Egmont in 2007, and Private Peaceful, and HarperCollins publication, published in 2004 by Michael Morpurgo. And through that, it meant the issues of war and peace are important for one to touch on, especially our local church, especially in this centenary year, with all of us would have talked about on TV. A traditional remembrance service, with its proper formalities and silence, is a typical outline of a church menu where, celebrations are key. Finally, it's important to say that although the theme of remembrance is a serious one, some of the deepest things are learned only when we are laughing and creating together. So children need the help of our all-togetherness, so to speak, to come to terms with the big questions such as life, death, war, and peace. During Remembrance Sunday, Bible stories, worship, and possibly a meal amongst discussions about what do they think about these appalling wars and the quarrels that come from them. Do you think they should just happen? I think again, these wars came about because someone wants their own way. And they want it so badly that they would kill somebody else for it. Everyone, or some people, long for what they don't want or don't have and are willing to go the extra mile to get it. Many want what isn't theirs and relics, again, violence to get control over the situation. You wouldn't think of asking God for such things, and why not? Because you'd be asking for what you have no right to. Like a spoilt child wanting their own way. James 4:1-3 in the Message version said, God blesses those people who make peace. They will be called his children. In Matthew 5:9, the letter of James is always thoroughly practical and shot through with God-inspired common sense. He knows how easily human beings fall out with each other and how the tendency to want their own way can be quickly magnified into personal feuds, like community rivalries and ultimately the all-out wars. The cultural and social cases of international warfare are of course complex, but James recognises that so often beneath it all lies human greed and selfishness. The history of the world is littered with wars, and whatever your opinion or my opinion as to the best way to deal with this, whether it be as a pacifist or a believer in a war, innocent people suffer. Young soldiers as young as 18 are killed in action. It is right that every death in war is remembered and not treated lightly. For this reason, the act of remembrance in November is still an important focus for national grief and a shared determination to work for peace. And as James writes, we should not turn to God in prayer rather than be at each other's throats in hostility. We should turn to God in prayer. So as we often say to our children, it's not who started the quarrel that matters, but who will end it. And it seems that Jesus was saying something similar when he pronounced his blessings on those who chose to be peacemakers. For Christians, the power and inspiration for this peacemaking is the cross of Jesus Christ. This is the only sure way to make a peace that lasts, both within us as individuals and between us as peoples. And this was also a Churches Together collaboration.